Our playoff march was stalled as the Leafs get shut out 5-0 by the Edmonton Oilers. Our playoff march continues!
Toronto Maple Leafs have named Dion Phaneuf the 18th team captain in Leaf history.
Leafs, beast in the East.
And the Leafs are rocking it out in the Music City. Oh man, that was great.
Wow, things are not looking good for the upcoming Stanley Cup champions, aka the Leafs, as they lose 5-0 against Canada's biggest joke in the NHL, the Edmonton Oilers, although they did beat the Montreal Canadiens and the Ottawa Senators. But here's how this disaster happened. In the first period, okay, Komisarek stops Horkoff from a breakaway attempt. I'll give him that. But 3 minutes into the period, Eberle scores to make it 1-0 for the Oilers. Yeah, I know Eberle was the hero for Team Canada, the NHL, but that was then, this is now. And Colton Orr and Steve McIntyre get into a fight. Unfortunately, McIntyre wins. But here is what is grinding the gears of Leaf fans. The Oilers are the worst penalty-killing team in the NHL. The Leafs get 2 power play opportunities when Gilbert's penalized for roughing and when Whitney is penalized for hooking. They don't take advantage of it. I know the Boulin Wall is in net for the Leafs, but because it's the Oilers, I'm expecting the Leafs to put some holes in that wall, and they couldn't. And Jones knocks over the monster. There was no goaltender interference on that play, but then again, it looked like the monster did walk into it a little bit. So, and second period was a slow start for the Leafs and the Oilers, but here is where all the Fire Wilson rants come in. Taylor Hall scores. Yes, their first-round draft pick scores on the monster. And as punishment, or as I like to call it, Ron Wilson yanks the monster in favor of Jean-Sébastien Giguère, who comes in cold for the rest of the second period and the game. And not only that, but Cogliano's penalized for tripping. Unfortunately, the Leafs could not capitalize on that power play either. But Shen is penalized, and the Oilers could not capitalize there. But on this defensive screw-up by Thomas Kaberle, like 3 seconds before the second period ends, Sam Gagner scores to make it 3-0 for the Oilers. And, well, this just pretty much made Leaf fans really, really, really angry. I mean, our expectations were that the Oilers were going to suck, and we get scored upon by them, and for some reason we could not beat the Boulin Wall. And in the third period, you know what, I'm not going to say anything. Hall scores, Jones scores, that's it. And I can see why Leaf fans are putting the blame on Ron Wilson. I mean, he hasn't been all that great of a coach. He's better off as a coach for a more experienced team. I mean, the Leafs team is too young for Ron Wilson's style of coaching right now. I'm beginning to agree with all those guys who are yanting fire Wilson because just he's not a coach for young players. I mean, look at the Tampa Bay game. Instead of having Tim Brent or Schustrom to try to stop St. Louis from scoring just before the game ends, none of them were on the ice or anywhere to be seen as St. Louis scores to tie that game and going into overtime. But if any of you guys are going to put one morsel of blame on Brian Burke for screwing up our future for the Phil Kessel trade, don't. That's just one bad trade of many great moves. So, I mean, like, not every general manager can be perfect. I mean, look back to when the Habs traded their first-round pick to Calgary for Alex Tanguay. Look how well that turned out. But what I'm saying here is, look at the Mollies. I mean, most of those players are Brian Burke signings and Brian Burke drafts well, okay, maybe some of them are John Ferguson Jr. drafts and Cliff Fletcher drafts, but Brian Burke has actually helped the Marlies improve the Leafs' future with the signings of Corbinian Holzer, Marcel Mueller, UC Runas. Well, actually, I think it's more like Rhinus because of the Y, but that's how Bart likes to pronounce his name. So, and then there's the Joey Crabb, Zigomanis, Danny Richmond signing, and that's benefited very well for the Marlies. I mean, yeah, they started off like with 1 win and 5 losses, but they were on a 10-game road winning streak, and they're starting to heat up at home. So don't blame Brian Burke for screwing up our future, because right now, our future players are actually doing quite well for the Marlies right now. I mean, they are second in the North Division, and they just beat the Abbotsford Heat like 6-3, and then shut them out again 3-0. So until after Sunday, because I'm going to the Meet Me at the Marlies event, so either before the event or after I get back from the event, go Leafs go, and let's beat those Bruins.